Welcome to the Think Factory podcast. We got one question for you. What keeps you up at night?
Welcome back to the Think Factory podcast, powered by OGC Solutions, and I'm your host from OGC Solutions, Chris Santamassimo, and I'm here today with my friend AJ Franzone, to be specific about it, AJ Franzone Jr., who's the president of Allen Field from Bensalem, Pennsylvania, one of the strong companies in the packaging field. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Chris. Good to be here.
Terrific. Yeah, and so we met AJ and his team over at the Pack Expo East conference, and we're always looking for companies that are doing something interesting, quite frankly, in their particular business. More specifically, things that are on the tip of everyone's tongue, namely sustainability and recyclability in the packaging market. Are things that everyone talks about, but what we saw pretty clearly is that the Allen Field folks are doing a great job to service their customers and tackle some of those issues. So, AJ, we'd love for you to hear a little bit more about the company, Allen Field, and we'll get into some of the topics that I mentioned in a moment.
Sure. We've been around since 1945. It started with the Field brothers, and we bought the company back in 1984, and I've been there, so it's coming up on 40 years, actually, this month.
Congratulations.
Basically, 100% plastic until about 5 years ago, I would say. And then we started to look at alternatives. And within really the last 18 months, a heavy push into sustainability and changing the makeup of our products from 100%, I'll use the word pure, but I'm sure that's not the right word, plastics to larger recycled content of the plastics in our products where applicable, where it can be done, that it doesn't reduce its capabilities of what we say it can do, as well as going 100% paper in some instances where packaging companies are asking us to, the word is single stream recycling with their package. So no plastics in the package. And we can accommodate that in certain areas up to limitations. A lot of our products have weight holding capacities and have to meet certain standards that we've set based on the original plastics. And we're slowly moving our products into alternatives and, like I said, recycled content, whether it be 100% in some cases to as low as 50. We try to get to 50 in most of the products.
So what segments of the packaging industry are you best known for, would you say?
We are consumer retail friendly packaging. I don't know if I can throw out names, but the Sonoses and HPs and Microsoft's computers and TVs have our clips and handles on them. There's been a big push, and it's been driven by both Amazon and Apple to move as far over to single stream as possible. Most clients are trying to get there. A lot of them won't be able to, just that the increase in cost of the package to do those things. A lot of people don't have the margins of Apple, so they can't afford it. And we are trying to get them as close as they can get and still produce a package that they want their consumers to have the experience of. A lot of our products have to do with the customer experience of unboxing, or if it's a heavy package, to carry it with a handle so that it's easy for carrying out of retail. So we're on the outside of every box typically. And it's most utilitarian function, closing a box, opening a box, carrying a box is typically.
Well, when you talk about high-end products, you mentioned Sonos as one. I mean, the experience of opening that box, having done it myself, I can speak to it. It is kind of a special experience in terms of your appreciation for the product, just as you open it. By the way, some of the speakers are pretty heavy too, so you have to have pretty strong packaging. But it's really important, I think, to demonstrate the quality of the product, that experience when you open it up for the first time has to be something a little bit different than just opening up the top of a corrugated box.
Exactly. When you buy a product with that high quality on the inside, you want everything to follow. And they are the leaders in customer experience. It's really important to them. And we have a few customers like that really care about the beginning to the end, not just to take the box, throw it away, but in fact, they design their boxes too so that you can keep it and store it or reuse it. They're all reusable actually, because they open and close and can function multiple times that way, which is how we like to promote our products as well, that they're reusable.
Right. Yeah. And going back to what you said a moment ago about your change in focus 5 years ago, what was the inflection point? What caused you to start to move in that direction?
Requests by customers started, and they just we couldn't afford to give it away. In other words, to change to recycled material, the recycled materials cost more than standard petroleum products, and nobody wanted to pay the increase, and we couldn't absorb the increase. So we pushed back. Said, sure, we'll make everything 100% recyclable in a product that could be, or 50, and they just didn't want to pay the increases. So we started then, and that we saw that was starting to change, and the cycle of availability of materials, the prices came down, and they're now to a point where if I can't get a price increase, I can most likely just absorb it because it's not crazy. It's within that 5% range. Anything over 5%, I have to pass on. I just can't absorb that. And we have now adapted a strategy within our engineering team to convert every product where applicable to 100%. And then, we test everything. We have holding capacities and hanging capacities and whatnot. And all the way down to, we've been pretty good at keeping above 50% post-consumer recycled materials. Yeah, that's important for us right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, this push that started with the Apples and the Amazons of the world has really, I think, infiltrated lots of different industries. I think even industries that you might consider to be sort of second tier in terms of how they think about packaging. Are you seeing that infiltration continue even, throughout the supply chain?
It's slower. Those guys are the leaders, and that's why I say over the past 18 months, it's increased. Where we've gotten more and more requests. We are converting plastic handle customers to paper handles. That's a new product line for us. The paper in a number of different materials in paper. There's ranges. We actually have cotton cloth handles and paper handles that meet that single stream criteria. But they're slower. I want to call it the non-retail. We do a lot of gym equipment, and of course there are some retail outlets selling gym equipment, but we're talking about the guys that sell to the gyms, the big gym outfits, and they're converting their packaging for ease of use. And if it requires a plastic clip, they're going to use it. But they are specifying what is the recycled content of the material in the part. They want to know now. Before, nobody was asking.
Right.
They just So now we have to document it and support that we are using X amount of percent depending on the product and what it's being used for. So we have to state that, and we have that data available.
Well, that data is important to your customers because they've got their own KPIs to worry about. They've got their own corporate goals as well.
Exactly. Everybody's got now a sustainability goal. I mean, it's in their program to certain levels, right? A lot of people are not printing on the high graphic white boxes, but they're trying to get away with doing as much on the brown to save on the recyclability, and so that brown box can be totally repulped and reused, and that's what they consider recycled. And plus, they're increasing their recycled contents within the boxes as well. Yeah.
Well, the good news on the corrugated side is that the statistics from some studies I read show that about 94 to 95% of corrugated gets recycled every year.
Yeah, I agree. It's an important aspect, and they're the ones pushing down on the smaller suppliers within the chain to follow them, right? To lead. They're leading, and we're following.
Right. And you mentioned cotton handles as one sort of interesting aspect. What are some of the other, non-traditional, what am I trying to say? The non-traditional elements of packaging that you're seeing come into vogue?
Well, so our biggest change in line is converting as many items into a paper version of it. And we're doing really well with hangers. We have a couple of items that we've converted to paper, we call craft paper, thicker paper, but it's totally recyclable and from recycled paper, away from a plastic hanger or hook, where the handles come in all paper or paper with cloth. For like upscale boxes, they like that feel of a cotton cloth material, but the cloth is it's cotton and it's totally recyclable. It's biodegradable. Yeah, so those are the areas that we're going into. We're trying to convert as many of our products as possible in the direction that we can. In other words, if I can't get a recycled content out of it, I try to convert it to paper. If I can't convert it to paper, I got to go, do the recycled content portion. We're even trying to use the plant-based materials where applicable, but they just don't have the in our business, the weight holding capacities of what our customers require. If I got to carry a 4-pound package, it's got to hold 4 pounds, and the hook can't be made from something that can't hold 4 pounds. So,
of course, yeah. With the show, you mentioned the use of bamboo. I'm curious of where you're seeing that happen.
In the paper area, we're playing with bamboo materials and that all comes out of China because that's where bamboo is rampant. And we're trying to look to see what we can convert to that because that's very sustainable. It grows like wildflower, easy to get.
It's a weed, right?
It's a weed, exactly. So we are and have been looking at doing that. We have some applications that we're going to be coming out with for that. Yeah, with that material.
Do you see it as do you see bamboo having the capability to be the entire package, or is it just an element of the package?
It's an element of the package. Again, we're a component within a package, and we're just trying to convert our components to be as sustainable as possible. And that's just one other method or raw material used to do that.
I hope they don't deprive the pandas from eating the bamboo, because that's what they eat all day long.
Oh yeah. No, like you said, it's a weed. It's everywhere. It's grown like anything else. The trees.
Yeah, for sure. And so what I like about printing and packaging, but certainly packaging, is that there's new technology all the time that's making things a little more efficient or making things a little bit more, I don't know, faster, better, clearer. Certainly, while you're on this trek for the sustainability element to your business, what else do you see interesting coming down the pike when it comes to packaging?
Well, the fact that they're trying to go plastic free, they're coming up with great creative materials to make their packaging out of. I mean, the packaging forms a function, right? It's got to protect what's inside. It's got to form and fit and function. It's got to live through the shipping cycle. If it's shipped through UPS or FedEx and they're throwing their boxes around, so it has to perform, and a lot of tests are being done. And in fact, we have to supply our materials to go through some of the, also those drop tests and whatnot to meet the certain standards. I don't see anything that really jumps out at me other than the types of materials. And every time a packaging company comes up with something new, I'm trying to follow it, because if they have a paper formed material that they're using and say is, really, whether it's biodegradable or recycled or made from recycled material, I'm trying to follow that and see how I can use it. So they're helping me find raw materials to use as well within my product line.
It's a great time to be a young engineer in this area when it comes to materials, right?
It really is, because we're playing with a lot. We're testing and playing with a lot of materials on my side anyway, and we're trying to make as many items out of as many different materials and test to see that they work. If they work, then we'll put it in our line and give it to our customers to see if that's what they want. It is exciting. It's like creating new products all over. Yeah.
And you're able to do that right in house. Do all the testing, right?
We do the packaging testing is done outside the minimal. Once the products are sampled and made, we do the weight loads and pull testing in-house. But the actual packaging we send out to the packaging specialists at the couple of universities that do that for us. Yeah,
It's really exciting. Really exciting.
yeah.
Anything you can share about new products that are going to hit your line anytime soon?
Everything, to be honest with you, we're doing a really good job of keeping our website updated. Sustainability is our newest section of our website and has the most new information. More and more, you'll see more and more plastic handles convert into a paper version of it, or a bamboo version of it is kind of our focus right now.
Pretty exciting. Very exciting. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the introduction to the company today, and certainly the focus on sustainability. Hopefully, you're going to solve some problems that are on the tip of the tongue of some of the people that listen to the podcast. Tell them where they can reach you on the web and learn more about the products.
Oh, yeah. Thank Chris. It's allenfield.com. It's ALLENFIELD.com. And you can get us at 1-800-535-0810.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for a great discussion. Hopefully answering questions for people that are trying to figure out how to meet those sustainability goals. So doing your part for sure. So just to sum it up for today, this has been AJ Franzone Jr. from Allen Field in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, talking about all the great products that Allen Field has, including the sustainable products. So again, thanks so much for joining the podcast today. And this has been Chris
You're welcome.
Santomassimo, host of the podcast, the Think Factory podcast, and we'll see you next time.